Let's talk rich pins on Pinterest. If you have no idea what rich pins are, I am going to walk you through it, so never fear. We are going to go through some of the history, what they are, how you can get them, and why you need them for your business. If you are new here, I am Kate All of Simple Pin Media. We are a Pinterest marketing agency. Our goal is to help people get really good at Pinterest marketing so that they can grow their business. Pinterest is a cold source of marketing, meaning people don't really know you. They are not really searching you out, but once they engage with your content or your products, they're really going to be interested in you because they approach Pinterest with this question of what's in it for me? And they're not necessarily approaching it with who's this brand I'm going to follow. So rich pins are a really important part of making sure that the content you put on Pinterest has everything they need to know to not only get to your site, but purchase your product and get to know who you are and what you do. All right, a little bit of history. We were actually just talking about when rich pins were introduced, and I think it was somewhere around 2015, 2016. You used to have to apply, you used to have to run it through this thing called a rich pin validator, and sometimes it would work, sometimes it wouldn't work. It felt really confusing. Also, we used to have 5 different types of rich pins, and now we've narrowed it down to 3. And actually, I think the current model is way less confusing, way easier to use, and super user-friendly. So first, let's talk about what rich pins are overall. They're essentially like a snippet of data. They give a pin context. So think about it this way. If somebody pins something from their site and they don't have a rich pin, it's only going to pull the description of that image that whatever people pin. If there's no description or if it's just an image number, it's really not going to pull any helpful information, right? But if you have rich pins set up, it will pull in a pin title, a pin description. If it's a product rich pin, it will add the price. And maybe somebody pins something that's like out of stock, then it will automatically update too on the platform, which is pretty cool. We'll get into that in a second. But think about it as it gives context versus not giving context. And when we give context, we give the platform more to work with, like the algorithm, that is to your benefit. So you always want to turn on rich pins. All right, before we get into this turning on of rich pins, which has its own separate debate, I'm really not going to get into that whole thing, but we can certainly talk about it in the comments if you want. But what are the 3 types of rich pins that we have now? We have recipe rich pins, we have article rich pins, and we have product rich pins. Probably the greatest debate that I hear out there is about the recipe rich pin. A lot of people ask, should I turn them on or should I turn them off? Well, let's talk about what a recipe rich pin is. First, what it does is it gives the ingredients. And sometimes it will give the measurements too, but it does not give the instructions for how to make a dish. So here's why we love to have them on, is because if I'm searching for dinner at night and I see this really great pin and I click to do a close-up and it gives me the rich pin data of what is in that recipe, I can decide at that point if I want to make it or not, depending on if I have that ingredient. And if I do have that ingredient, I now click on this pin and go to the website and I make that particular dish. And frankly, I spend a lot more time on the website, which is to your advantage if you are ads or affiliate monetized. You want me to hang out there. So the rich pins qualified me. It said, yes, I have this ingredient. I'm going to go make it. Now, if I click on a recipe and I see I don't have 3 out of the 10 ingredients, I'm probably not going to make it. So therefore, I'm not going to click. The debate has been, well, if I remove this piece of all the recipe or all the ingredients, then people have to click. Well, what happens if I click and I get there and I immediately see that you're using sun-dried tomatoes and I don't even have sun-dried tomatoes? I click to pop away, then increasing your bounce rate. And whether or not you think that that's factored into Google anymore, who knows what Google wants? It's a missed opportunity to create a deeper engagement. So for that reason, my expert advice is to keep your recipe rich pins turned on. Again, you can comment below and let us know about your experience. We know that out there's some people who love to leave them on. My preference, keep them on. Listen, I know that your inbox is probably really full of emails. I get it, mine is too. But if you are pursuing Pinterest marketing, I think we have one of the best newsletters out there about Pinterest marketing. It's not super wordy, but it gives you just enough details to keep you up to date on anything that's happening on Pinterest, any resources we find relevant, our latest podcast, and our latest video here on YouTube. It takes less than 5 minutes to read, comes out every single Wednesday, and it's called Pinterest Made Simple. We curate this newsletter with the education that we do for our team by pulling in all of the articles and resources and giving you what we find most relevant. So I don't want this to be another email in your inbox. So if right now you feel like, Kate, I just cannot take another email, that's totally fine. But if you are looking for information just to keep you up to date, just kind of like a touch point, you can sign up for the Pinterest Made Simple newsletter here below in the description or here with the QR code. So get the Pinterest Made Simple newsletter today. We promise not to clutter up your inbox and be more of an additive to your Pinterest marketing. The second is an article rich pin. Think of this as context for a blog post. It gives the destination, it gives the title, it gives them more information as to what it's about. And frankly, when it comes to people reading blog posts on Pinterest, I would say they're going to look more at the image than they are the words below that you'll see in the rich pins or the description. That's really for the algorithm to know what it is your article is about. And if somebody is searching for that, then it can show it to more people. This also helps you not have to think every single time about writing your own organic title, your description, all those kinds of things. If you've done that work on your website, it just pulls it in. It's a win-win for you and a huge time saver. I have article rich pins turned on my site. I've really never had to mess with them. You turn them on once and you're done. That's it. The last is product rich pins. And these are only enabled when you connect your catalog to Pinterest, whether it's through a third-party integration like Shopify or WooCommerce, or you've uploaded your catalog natively yourself. So what these product rich pins allow you to do is update your pricing, update your inventory, and it allows the update to happen on the platform overall. So let's say you have a t-shirt, right? And you have been making this t-shirt for years and people have been pinning it, you're getting traffic from Pinterest, but then all of a sudden you decide you're not gonna make this t-shirt anymore. You're gonna pull it from your inventory. When your catalog is updated with Pinterest, anything that has a product rich pin will be removed from the platform. It's no longer there, which means you're not gonna get people clicking on that particular t-shirt, coming to your website and saying, where's the t-shirt? I thought this was here. I looked on Pinterest. I will say I've done that multiple times. I have come across, well, here's a little quick tip for you. Actually, I'll do a side step, but show you how it plays in. Okay, if you don't know what to buy people for Christmas, go to their Pinterest boards. I have gone to my niece's Pinterest boards and I've looked through of things that they like, and then I click on certain things. One year, they had both been pinning these things that were out of stock. And I kept doing visual search. I kept trying to find the pin. And when I did visual search, I would find more of the pins that were out of stock. It was a very frustrating process. So when you add product rich pins, you remove that frustration for people. They're no longer scouring for this t-shirt that's no longer made. Also, if you are running a sale, and you have those pins go out to Pinterest and it says $19.99, but now this particular t-shirt, because of inflation, is like $75. So then you can update your price to $75 and you don't have somebody coming to you saying, well, on this pin, it says $20. It's automatically updated with the price. So for sellers, this is a huge advantage. If you have not connected your shop or figured out the shop integrations, we did a huge e-commerce series here on YouTube. So you can just scroll down below and we'll put the link in the description. So if that has piqued your interest, you're like, I don't even know how to connect my shop. I don't even know what you're talking about. Verified merchant program. Just click below on that link and go watch that series. Because Pinterest is leaning so heavily into shopping, it is really important that you have your integration set up on Pinterest, and product rich pins is what you get when you set up your integration. All right, how to get rich pins. We just talked about product rich pins. It's pretty self-explanatory. You add your catalog. The other two, recipe and article, it's super easy. You get this little snippet of code and you add it to your website. Voila. It's done. There's no applying for them. There's no running it through the rich pin validator. We used to all Google, where's the rich pin validator? I don't even know if it's still out there, but all that being said, you don't have to do it anymore. You just have to add this code. So we're going to leave a link below in the description so you can go figure out how to do that. It's pretty self-explanatory. If you need a tech person to help you do this because you're a little bit tech challenged, which I understand, I am too, comment below and we can connect you with somebody that we know. We know a few tech people in the industry that can do this for a pretty low fee. So just comment below if you need help with that. This is very important, and I have not mentioned it to this point, mostly because I forgot, but here we go. You need a business account. I hope in 2024, if you're doing Pinterest marketing, you just know that's the case. If you're going to do anything that relates to business or marketing, you absolutely need a business account on Pinterest. Full stop. Like, you can't really do a whole lot with a personal account. And some people come to us and they say, but what about like a creator account like I have on Instagram? It doesn't work that way. So get yourself a business account. You get access to great analytics, Pinterest trends, and you also get access to ads. So in order to get rich pins, you need a business account. Okay, hopefully that helps bring you up to speed on like all things Richpin. We do have an article on our website if you need kind of a full walkthrough with text and screenshots and things like that. It's something that we've been updating for years. It's really helpful. So we'll leave that below as well. Last, it is Q4 on Pinterest when we are recording this. This is the highest traffic time that we will see, highest purchase time on Pinterest. If you don't have rich pins, it's the number one thing I think you need to do right now before going into this season. Number 2 is go watch our video all about pinning for the holiday season. What does that look like? So make sure you go check that out. As always, if you have any questions about Pinterest, we are here and ready to help and serve you. Just email us hello@simplepinmedia.com or get on our newsletter. Pinterest Made Simple comes out every single Wednesday. You can get that by going to simplepinmedia.com/newsletter. Alrighty, thanks so much for watching.